Hello. It's another episode of Blighty Day Fiance, Sister Blights. This is the only Sister Wives recap podcast hosted by an American gal
And a British guy.
married to each other,
Yeah.
living in London,
Yeah.
watching these shows for you.
Yeah.
Mostly about relationships and dating.
Not exclusively. The Walking Dead is now back.
Yep.
And because you lost a bet, we are going to be covering the final ever episode of that. I'm sorry.
We sure are. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Michelle.
My name is Robin. That's Robin, which is how you spell Robin. If you spell your name Robyn, your name is Rabine.
At least for the purposes of this podcast, to make things slightly less confusing, because when we do the recaps, we are usually more than a thimbleful of gin in, as is the case this very evening.
It's a Monday.
It is a Monday. You know what? We're not going to go hard and heavy. We're going to do 3 themes because we are not a beat for beat recap show. At least with this show, we like to bring something slightly different. So what I do is introduce some themes to Robin for us to sort of speak about generally, and we weave in the through lines from the show, maybe some anecdotes.
It's a metaphysical framework.
It is. It's a metaphysical framework, and people seem to like it.
Yeah, it also means I could just play on my phone while you're making notes.
Which is what you do anyway.
Yeah.
So the first theme...
Well, hold your little beautiful ponies.
Okay.
I love getting straight into things.
Yep.
But we have a tiny bit of housekeeping. Just a little bit.
We do have a bit of housekeeping
just a
to
little
do.
bit.
Okay. You can follow us on social media at Blighty Day. That's BLIGHTYDAY. You can email us, blightydayfiance@gmail.com. Our Facebook group is Blighty Day Bays, BAES.
And we do lots of shows. So if you only listen to this one, stay tuned. We're doing Love is Blind very soon.
Yep.
We do our regular date blights where we cover a huge variety of shows. And we're going to do even more very soon because our Patreon is on the way. Stay tuned to the socials. We'll give you more details.
That's right. Perfect.
Also, one other tiny little thing, just before we get going. We put this on our Instagram a couple of nights ago. We are encouraging you guys to donate to an animal sanctuary in Florida that after the hurricane, and that was bad enough, they got attacked by a swarm of African killer bees. It's a kinkajou sanctuary mainly. They have other exotic animals there. And it's not Tiger King stuff. This is where the animals from...
No, it's not a roadside zoo. It's an actual animal sanctuary for...
this is where people that decide that they can have exotic pets but really can't. This is where those animals then go.
Yes.
Right? But they do specialize in kinkajous, which are honey bears, which may be the greatest creature on God's good planet. We're dog people, but even I might say that kinkajous, they run dogs pretty damn close. The lady who runs it, Alexandra, also loves cats, so there's something in it for everyone.
Yep.
But it's really sad. One of these poor little guys didn't make it. A couple of others seem to be recovering, but it's cost them a lot. They've had to chop trees down and get rid of all these awful bees and stuff, so please help. When Michelle and me go to bed every night, we catch up with the kinks. It's what we do for like 5 minutes before lights off. And
it's just a nice little boost of serotonin. It's just, and she's a wonderful person. She is an addict in recovery. She runs this nonprofit business, really on the side, in addition to other paid jobs that she has. And we really admire her commitment to improving mental health, to speaking about addiction and writing about addiction, and her struggles with sobriety. She has been sober for, I think, 5+ years now. And she's just, in every sense of the word, a phenomenal woman and a really caring, loving person. So please head on over to our Instagram or just Google Kinkatopia and donate.
But even if you don't donate, and donate, come on. Even if you don't, follow them and do what we do every night before we go to bed and just watch those kinks. Honestly, it will make your life at least 4 times as good.
Absolutely. Shall we get to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first theme of the night is potential. And potential is never more apparent and
Present, visceral.
visceral than in a young woman on the brink of adulthood. I know that sounds creepy, me saying that, but
It sounds creepy, Cody saying it.
no, but there is an energy that young women have that is really special, and it's well documented in throughout history, in the polytheistic religions, or in Wicca. They talk about the maiden, the mother, and the crone as the stages of life. They talk about all the promise of maidenhood and yeah, the strength, the potential, the warmth, the promise.
But also like TV and media and stuff, right? So from Clueless,
Yeah.
or
Jane Austen, even.
Yeah. Or we've been watching the new Mike Flanagan joint on Netflix, Midnight Club. That's the same thing. It's a woman at that particular age, girl, woman. I don't know what we should say, and neither does Brittany.
The Craft. Yeah.
There's something about it, and you look at Isabel in this episode, and she literally embodies that. Like, the power is strong. She is just a ray of light. There's no limits, no boundaries, just joy and happiness, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
And particularly given everything that she's gone through with her health, the scoliosis and the migraines, she's really, you wouldn't blame her for being a bit bitter, for feeling a bit hard done by. She doesn't have that. She is strong. But she's not cynical or jaded. And so it's no surprise that she is being fated in this beautiful family celebration that really touched my heart.
I was really touched to hear the way Christine spoke about her.
Yep.
And just wonder when my mum might say something like that about me.
Oh, I'd say that about you.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think your mom would say that about anyone. Except herself in the past, which is fine. We meet people where they are, right? So yeah, this party is for her high school graduation / almost 18th birthday. Now, Cody, blissfully unaware of her actual age, uses this as an opportunity to talk about teenage sexuality, which I dare say is an area he's had probably no experience with. I hope.
But he hasn't lived it. Who knows what media he's consumed over the years. Pure. Who knows?
Cody says that that both boys and girls need to sort things out before they go mad with sexuality, I think were his words. I tend to tune out when he goes into these diatribes because
Christine's
I just
off
can't.
camera going, yeah, you're not that mad on sexuality yourself, are you, big boy?
Well,
I guess that madness dissipates.
well, yeah.
Yeah. But super creepy, super irrelevant. She's not 16.
Nope.
There's no reason to bring that up.
She's not 16 and neither is he. And also, he's her father. And also, go drown in a fire, please. Cody, forever. Thank you.
Drown in a fire?
It's a joke from Strangers with Candy.
God damn it.
Come at me, the 3 people who will get that reference. Anyway, yeah, so that's one area where there's a lot of potential. Mm-hmm. Now, not that anyone is there yucking on her yum outright, but we do get a bit of a whinge from Rabine, who is permanently whinging, really, and Mary saying, oh, this should be worth fighting for. It could be like this all the time. To that, I say, in the words of Ani DeFranco, you had time.
Yeah.
You say
Yeah.
you needed time, but you had time.
Yeah, they've had like 20, 30 years to they could do this every Sunday if they wanted to, right?
Sure.
No reason why they couldn't. And if they haven't, it's because they can't bear to be around each other. It's the truth, right? Or they can't bear to be around Cody, or the fact that he's always there ruining everything. I don't know. I'm new to this shiz. But my vibe is that this beautiful community that they wanted to build kind of was never really a community and over the years drifted away. So you can't then go, oh, but it could be this, it could be this. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't this, and there are reasons, and those reasons continue.
I mean, there is definitely, and we can speak to this, and I think all parents can speak to this. There is definitely, parenting is a bonding experience, right? Ideally, it's something that brings you together, sometimes whether you like it or not. And particularly when your kids are young and everything is kind of all about them. Sometimes life becomes so all about them that maybe you fail to notice that there are cracks in the foundation. It happens all the time, right?
Yeah. Or there are things that as adults you needed for you
Right.
that you never got because everyone was just talking about bringing up kids.
Right.
So Christine hasn't had an intimate relationship with her husband for years and years and years. That is the situation, You
Well,
can't just go, "Ooh, we can have some parties."
No.
That's not going to fix that problem.
And look, it may be that Rabine is getting railed, I think, pretty regularly. I think they are probably.
Boy. No, not those terms. I can't think of railing.
Well, what does Cody make love to women?
Oh.
Does he? No, he doesn't.
Oh, I'm going to need to listen to a lot of Curtis Stigers songs to.
He spends, okay? He spends and then he's done. All right?
Boy.
And he probably does it while she's watching, I don't know. I can't even think about something basic enough for her to watch.
Who's the cook in America? Thingy Ray.
Rachel Ray.
Rachel Ray. She watches Rachel Ray.
I don't, is Rachel Ray even on in America anymore? Anyway, it doesn't matter because no matter what I say, choose your poison. She's watching NCIS or something.
Wow.
And he's having it away.
He doesn't go straight in. His fronds, his hair fronds, like tentacles, reach out and feel towards her. Because there's the gap between the front fronds and the central and rear fronds.
It's the hair peninsula.
He does have a hair peninsula. Anyone that emails blushdayfiance@gmail.com and identifies that slight reference gets a tote bag.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah.
But let's say no more on that because otherwise we'll end up giving it away. So, yeah, I think that Mary has buried her sexuality and her sexual needs for intimacy underneath a lot of ugly sweaters.
In the woods.
A lot of ugly sweaters.
Yeah.
While we're still on the topic of potential,
There's no potential.
It struck me as very sad, that she's declined Cody's suggestion that she run the B&B in, I think it's St. George.
Yeah, because that could be another life for her, because God knows she doesn't have one right now. Like, what is she hoping for? What is Mary's end game?
I told you, to curse him with her dying breath. Or the other way around.
But is she hoping that he'll kind of go, oh, I've had this all along and come back to her?
No, not at all.
So
I think it's solely about...
She wants to be around so she can watch him burn.
Yeah.
Right.
So that she
She
can be
can't do
there.
that from the B&B.
No.
I mean, her going to the B&B wouldn't bring about the demise even quicker?
No. I don't
Okay.
think so.
All right.
Because I think he could be happy if he just had Robin.
Right. Right.
And some people think Janelle could leave him. I don't think she ever will. I just don't. And that's no shade on her or anything. She can make her own decisions. I think that if she was going to leave, she would have left. And I think things would have to get unbearable for her to leave.
Well, Janelle's got like an emotional wall up. So whatever happens, it doesn't really hurt her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we'll move on to the next theme, which is nature. And I'm not just talking about the magnificent splendor, natural splendor of Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm speaking about human nature. Do you think a person's...
Can you do a Björk impression?
No. I'm not really a good imitator. I mean, I could probably... Is human nature the one? We live at the mountain, and
Yeah, I think so.
I go through all this before you wake up.
I don't think that's
I
human
can
nature.
feel happier to feel safe again with you.
No, that's not human
Oh,
nature.
okay. Sorry. Wait a minute. We didn't talk about the betting fields.
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Oh, maybe we should do it there. No, we should. All right, because that was the potential sequence, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Unwritten, I dare say, by Natasha Bedingfield, is one of the best songs.
It's a beautifully, beautifully, cleverly written song. Slightly too cleverly. The funny thing about it is, it's like written. I don't know when she wrote that song, but it is the sort of song a girl of Isabel's age would write.
Yeah.
Do you not think? You know, it's a bit teenage poetry and everything, but purely musically, it's a brilliant song. She was quite a big hit in the States, right? Everyone knows Unwritten.
Yeah,
That was a
it was
big
the
hit.
theme song to The Hills.
Yeah. I used to know her fairly well. I had quite a crush on Tash.
Aww.
I don't think it was reciprocated. I don't think I'm Christian enough. They're a very Christian family, the Bedingfields, to the point where her brother, Daniel Bedingfield, now Daniel was like the big star over here, and then she came along like, oh yeah, my sister does this too. Daniel, I don't think has such a big success in the States. He had Got to Get Through This, which is like a kind of like a garage kind of song.
I don't want to run
And he had
away, but I can take it. I don't understand. If I'm not made for you, then why does my heart tell me that I am? Is there any way that I could stay
Go for the high note.
in your
Ah! Oh, you got the high note.
Ugh, barely.
I was always amazed when he did, frankly. Lovely man, Daniel. Absolute sweetest.
Aww.
No, really, 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 really lovely. But he did say the weirdest thing to me that anyone has ever said to me in my entire life. All right, the second weirdest thing that anyone's ever said to me after Marilyn Manson asking me if I'd like a blowjob in the lift. Daniel Bedingfield looked deep into my eyes one day and said, "You really remind me of my favourite." This is quite a good impression, actually. You really remind me of my favourite priest.
I think that's beautiful. What a compliment, especially for a Christian. It would have been different if it was, like a person who had experienced abuse within the church.
Well, it would be different if Marilyn Manson had said it to me. You remind me of my favourite priest. Would you like a blowjob?
You have to. You should bleep that and leave it unbleeped in the Patreon.
I'm going to give that one away for free.
Yeah, I mean, he is, by all accounts, a terrible person.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Yes.
More of that on the Patreon.
More of that on the Patreon. So nature. Do you think people's nature can change their essence, who they are, what they are want to do? I'll use an example here. I was quite amused that during Isabel's party, there was a baby doll that was sort of getting passed around. Like sometimes Mary was holding it, sometimes Robin was holding it, sometimes Janelle was holding it. There's a point where where Cody tells Robine
Yeah.
to put the baby doll down.
Yeah.
Do you think he was jealous?
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even particularly aware it was a doll. I thought it was an actual
Did you
baby.
think it was a baby?
And I was like, you can't just leave a baby on a bench. So I was a little bit worried about the baby. I'm relieved now to know that was just a doll. Thank God for that.
How many of the Brown children do you think were left in their car seats on top of the car while Cody pulled out?
They didn't have car seats. At best, they had like what you like those sort of strings for dogs. At best, sort of wrapped around their toes or something. And the idea would be that it wouldn't defend them in the event of a collision, but it would prevent any flying babies from hitting the back of Cody's head and hurting him.
I think if he was traveling anywhere with a baby or small child and it wasn't tethered to him in some way, either, in a little
Papoose.
baby Bjorn or a lead or what have you, I can see him being singularly focused on other stuff.
Oh, he'd be texting as he drove anyway, so it would take him a long time before he realised the baby was back on Highway 62.
Do you think Mary's nature will change? Do you think Chanel's nature will change? Do you think any of the other adults I guess some of the kids are adults now too, but do you think any of the wives or Cody?
I'm harbouring hope for Rabine, and again, I know.
Wow, that is a hot take.
I know it's a hot take, but just a refresher, I am new to this show, right? So I haven't seen all the monstrous, horrible things Rabine's done over the years, but I'm aware that she is not a favourite.
Can you hear it when she talks?
Oh, she's deeply irritating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Oh, she's awful. But I'm wondering, I'm coming at this from a scriptwriter kind of point of view, right? I think there could be yet a redemption arc, and I'm here for it.
Well, I don't see it happening. I mean, for what it's worth, it was one of her daughters, I think, Brianna, who I don't think they showed this, but I'm pretty sure she stole the mic from Christine and was the one kind of waving her hands in the background.
That was gross. Also, I mean, if you we had a birthday celebration for your dad a couple of years back, right? Mm-hmm. Where Michelle and I performed a song from every decade of his life. It was his 70th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And to be clear, this wasn't like some huge, massive event. It was just family.
Yeah.
Immediate family.
We were on a little boat. It's like 20 people, right?
Yeah.
And we rehearsed the shit out of that.
Yep.
Whoever was playing that guitar did not rehearse the shit out of it, and I have an issue with that.
Okay, you're not gonna. No, I'm not here for that.
I'm coming for
I'm
the
not
kids.
trying to hear that.
I'm coming for those kids.
In the immortal words of Darquavion, I ain't trying to hear none of that. So you can keep your nastiness to yourself.
All right, don't
much.
go smashing my vases.
I won't. To be fair, I don't think he broke it. I think he knocked it over and somehow it didn't break, probably because it landed on trash. Anyway, different show. Okay, so then we'll go with expediency and care to the final theme, which is anger. Interesting little piece that I would like to begin with, if you don't mind. Now, as I was doing my scrolls this week.
What we call read indeed.
Yes, while I was doing my read and deed,
Yeah.
which is just a nice way of saying, scrolling before bed, I came across a Brene Brown video where she said that resentment is actually not a function of anger,
Okay.
it's a function of envy. So, if, for example, I'm resentful toward friends of mine who go on vacation, with their kids and are able to fly or whatever. I'm not angry at them for going on vacation. I'm angry at myself and I'm jealous
Yeah.
because I'm not doing that for myself.
But what if you say you really resent the fact that your mother didn't call you for months?
Well,
Is that envy?
I think so, yeah.
Well, I guess I'm envious of an alternative person who may or may not be me, whose mother did call them.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Is this a session?
I don't know, but I suppose I was just thinking about, and obviously I've been, for those of you who are not aware, we as a family are going through something difficult with a family member of mine, close family member. And so I've been reading a lot about grief and acceptance and things of that nature.
No.
And one of the passages in the book said, actually, give me a second. Let me find it. Can you pause it?
Through the magic of time. Just imagine, like in a film, a clock will be spinning forward. What's actually happening is I'm hitting the space bar. And I just hit it again.
Okay. So this is from a book called Bearing the Unbearable. My therapist recommended it to me. It's by Joanne, don't laugh, Cacciatore.
That's a meal, isn't it? Isn't
Yeah.
it? What's a cacciatore?
I make it all the time. It's like it's like Italian. It's like tomato and olives and
Capers.
rosemary. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she sounds delicious.
So she's talking about a patient of hers who lost her son, and the patient's name is Karen. What Karen told me she wanted initially was to overcome her grief, but through our work together, what she later realized she wanted was to feel all that called out to be felt. In short, to have the courage to suffer. Suffer is an interesting word that can usefully be defined as having the capacity to endure pain without having to change it, resist it, or cling to it. And I thought about this because Cody, defaults to anger for pretty much everything. And
It's his only emotion. Yeah.
right. And I wonder
Sorry,
if
self-pity is his only emotion.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I wonder if what we're looking at is grief, and if what we're looking at is watching these the ones who Christine is leaving kind of go through their own grieving process. I mean, Mary obviously already is with her mother.
Well, this goes back to the is it envy or is it resentment thing? Is that
Envy or anger?
Envy or anger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. That's what resentment. You see, I think the grief is for themselves. I don't think there's any grief at losing Christine.
Okay.
I didn't hear any of them articulate that, to be honest. Like, I'll really miss her. She's an awesome person. They did sort of say they'll miss her kids, which is kind of not creepy, but I sometimes feel like the kids are possessions in a way. Like, I have a share in that. Do you know what I mean? That's almost the attitude. I have a part share in that child. How dare you take them away? So there's part of that. But I think the grief is that they are grieving the life they thought they were going to have as the empire comes crumbling down. So it's not for losing anyone, it's for losing themselves.
It's really interesting you mention that because Robin talks about
Good grief.
Robin talks about how her kids have reacted, 3 of which are adults, by the way.
Yeah.
And she's talking about the kids being angry and confused when
Bullshit.
I guarantee you
Bullshit.
the kids wouldn't even be able to tell Christine, Janelle, and Mary apart.
I thought about this and I was like, yeah, the kids feel really angry and let down because that's how it's being articulated to them, right? Definitely. Like,
yeah.
we weren't there when the news were broke. And I remember saying to you at the time, I was like, yeah, of course they're angry, because I know damn well the way this has been represented. This happens in divorce all the time with kids. The one parent or both parents will say, such and such abandoned us, and it's just you and me against the world, kid. And it's a way of making sure that the child doesn't resent you for your part in this, right?
Sure.
So of course Robin is going to explain it to her kids in very negative ways, because otherwise the kids might be like, did you drive her away?
But I don't think she's even thinking about the kids. I think she's thinking about herself and not wanting to put her own feelings front and center, because that doesn't seem to be her style.
So
do you know what I mean?
The kids are the tulpas. The kids are the emotional vessels for her feelings.
Well, it's a bit like my mother, who used to say like, oh, such and such relative will be devastated if you don't come home for Thanksgiving, and it was really, she wanted, well, not me, my sister or my brother, because she never wanted me to come home.
Right. And I do that with the dogs. Tig will be devastated if we don't have chicken tonight.
Yeah.
Is secretly me saying I'd like chicken tonight.
Like chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, isn't it, how the conversation that we were having earlier, and I guess the conversation that's been ongoing with this show, is looking at how all of the different wives process the change and kind of this big thing in their lives. And it's such an interesting lens thinking about it as a grieving process. I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
Sure. You also need to remember this isn't just a marriage falling apart. It's their entire identities. They've been making a TV show about this family for 17 years.
Yeah.
Right? Is it 17 years?
I don't think it's 17 years. It's 17 seasons. But Cody talks about functional polygamy, right?
Yeah. It's a great line.
It is.
And then he goes, and it turns out, we've been incredibly dysfunctional as a family. It's like, once in a while, I get a little glimpse of what Cody might be like if he wasn't a massive bellend.
But that speaks so much to his, his... I'm sorry, listeners. There isn't a better word for it. His Weltanschauung, his worldview, right?
Turned out there was a better word for it.
$200 word. I know, I can't help it, but now I'm all in the analysis brain. People will forgive me for that, I hope, in time. But it says so much that he uses a word like functional rather than happy, rather than thriving, rather than,
Well, he's a big fan of definitive terms. Like, it's time for a big old dose of patriarchy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, these are big words that in and of themselves carry massive definitions and qualifications. Like, what exactly do you mean by that? So again, what exactly do you mean by functional polygamy? I guess because he's not bright enough to explain it, he's attempted to live it and show people, and he's just made a complete pig's ear of that. So well done, Cody.
He sure has. But he and Mary have that in common. They talk about things in such concrete, black and white definitive
Yeah.
terms. Janelle could not be further from that.
No.
And Robin could not be further from that. They are both so vague
Yeah.
in how they
They're
describe
non-committal,
things.
that's right.
It's always
Because they never want to be wrong, and they don't want to kind of be accused of being wrong or called out on anything. And also, to a degree, I think with Janelle, she doesn't really give a shit. There's some of that. It's like, I'm not going to get involved in like having to defend a corner, right? I'm just not going to have a corner.
yeah.
I quite like that.
I
I'm not a fan of drama junkies, as you know.
no, but I think that there is something between being
Yeah.
completely unmovable the way that Mary is, literally and figuratively.
Unlike Janelle, who's entirely movable because she's got a fifth will.
A fifth will.
Will.
A fifth will.
Fifth will. Fish will. Good. Splendid. I never know the degree to which the next time on is relevant or whether people watch these things. And I know you should always be careful that it could theoretically be a spoiler. I did just really quickly want to touch on, because we were talking about Rabine telling her kids, I just wanted to touch on, I think, Christine's only misstep. She's literally been like, pushing the meter to 100 on performance terms, like she's been knocking everything out of every park, and we've been so impressed by her, but she's dropped that ball that she hasn't told her kids before this party first. Massive risk, because everyone else there knows, and it would have really sucked. Sorry, just Truly, right?
Yeah.
It would have really sucked if like one of the other kids gone, I hear you're going, Truly. You're going off to Utah. See ya, love you, bye. What's happening? It would have been awful, right? And I kind of had a sigh of relief that the party went and no one kind of, dropped Truly in it. And then apparently Christine goes and does exactly that by having a phone call.
Yeah.
I just think, look, the minute you know you're breaking up with someone and you're making plans to do it and it is irreversible, I think you've got to tell the kids that night. I'll be honest. You can't hide that.
Yeah, but there could be lots of reasons for that. I mean, I don't know much about Truly's personality, but it may be that she's highly anxious or has some other kind of emotional or psychological issue where telling her way ahead of time might cause,
I guess, look,
some issues for her.
We don't know the timelines, do we? But I think
No.
probably more time to adjust is better than we're leaving on Tuesday,
Yeah.
But maybe they might.
I don't know, because we've never had to move all of a sudden for stupid reasons. We've never had to tell our kid that we're moving.
all of a sudden. I
all of a
think
sudden.
we've been in this place how many months now? Like 7 months? That's getting to be a record for
Since
us.
February, yeah. Oh, God bless.
Alrighty, I think that'll do it. Some laughs, some tears, some deepness. I'd like to think that we attempted to bring you all of those things. Whether or not we did, it's up to you. Do stick with us. We will be back pretty soon with our next ep. We love this show. We really do.
Yeah, we do. I know that it's I appreciate your patience, everyone. We normally try to get this up on a Monday or Tuesday. Life stuff, family stuff got in the way this week. But we're going to do everything we can to keep on a regular schedule. And our Patreon launches next week. So you have one more free episode of Date Blight, which is our sort of catch-all for the shows that we don't recap. So at the moment, our Date Blight is 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, The Single Life,
Yep.
Life After Lockup, which is coming to an end pretty soon. What's the other one?
We do Below Deck sometimes. We do
sometimes
Inmate
we do
to
Below
Roommate.
Deck, Inmate to Roommate. Yep, still going. So all of those Matt Sharp shows, basically, plus Bodie McBoatface, as we like to call it. That will soon be behind the paywall, but you get one more freebie and then one free one a month after that. We are going to be, our next big show that we're covering is Love's Blind.
Yeah.
So,
And there's lots of other stuff coming up that we'll do. We don't quite know how we'll do it or where we'll do it. But you were talking about the lockup reverse.
yes, that's
Love
right.
During Lockup. They just released the cast.
Yeah.
I was so excited just to see a whole bunch of new people. I love the new people.
Plus
the
Ty and just
Yeah.
Ty coming back.
I wonder if she's still got the same ringtone. We will find out.
I love her. I mean, anyone whose breasts work as a second set of fists.
Yeah, I want to see her breasts like duetting like David Bowie and Mick Jagger in the Dancing in the Street video. Just dancing around each other, swinging wildly on a city street corner.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to that. One more note, last but not least, a very happy birthday to Jake Anthony.
Oh, yeah. He's, what is it, 27?
Yep.
Yep.
27
27
years
years young.
old. Yep.
Yeah, we love you, Jake. Happy birthday from us, from everyone who listens to us, from everyone in your local area, everyone you've ever met, and everyone you ever will. You're a lovely man.
Cheers.
And with that, we will see you soon.